I just wanted to do a video on basic melt and pour before you try and get into anything fancy, you know, with layers and embeds and stuff like that. And I struggled to find a video that was just, you know, back to the basics. So I just thought I'd quickly do one. So you need a checklist of things before you start. You need obviously your melt and pour base, which is here. There's loads of different bases you can choose from. So just whatever one suits your fancy, really. You're gonna need a spatula for stirring, your mold. Again, hundreds of molds you can use. There's plastic ones, there's funny shaped ones. These are silicone ones, which I love because they're so easy to pop out. You're gonna need some scales. You need your fragrance oil, or you can use essential oils as well, but unless you're quite clued up on essential oils, I'd maybe steer clear of that and just use a fragrance oil. You need some colouring and isopropyl alcohol. You want the 99.9% version because this gets rid of all your bubbles. So that's what you're looking for, 99.9%. Okay? And a little squirty bottle for that to go in. Right, so what you want to do, when you get your base, it's going to come in a solid chunk, so you need to cut it down so it's fairly small so that it melts a lot better. And get that in there, weigh out exactly what you need. Now when melting, you can use either a bain-marie, but if you don't have one of them, I mean, they're quite all singing and all dancing, but you can use a microwave, that's absolutely fine. Just do it at short bursts, maybe sort of like 20 seconds, depending on how much you've got. If you've only got a little bit, you need to really keep an eye on it. But just sort of 20 seconds burst, give it a light stir. Make sure you do stir it as well. Some tips that I've received have been not to stir it, but you end up with a big clump in the middle, which you then have to try and hack apart, and it just can get a bit messy. So you want short sort of 20-second bursts in your microwave. You want your microwave on medium power if you're doing it in the microwave. Otherwise it will melt too fast and you end up burning, and sometimes you can melt your jug. I have done that, I've done it recently, and I've been doing this a long time. Okay, so I'm gonna get this melted, I'm gonna put it into the microwave, and then I'll bring you back once it's all melted. Right, I am back. Now this has been in for about 4 minutes, just so you can see that, and we've got that little lump in the middle. Yeah, so that's what happens if you don't stir it very much. You end up with a big lump in the middle. Okay, so just give her a quick stir. Her, him, it. Right, something else that I forgot as well, essential when doing melt and pour in my mind, is a digital thermometer. These things are absolutely fantastic. And you just plonk it in, press the button, and it tells you what your temperature is. And you can change it to Fahrenheit as well, if that's how you roll. Okay? So this is quite hot. So I'm just going to break down these little lumps and just keep stirring it, and they'll sort of melt. I think the melting point of this particular base is 54 degrees C. So that's just going to melt those little bits that are left in there. Okay? Just be careful of overheating. I've done it as well. What will happen is if you leave it in for too long, it gets too hot, it all bubbles up over the top, and then you end up with it all in the bottom of your microwave. Not ideal. Okay, so you can see that, those little lumps that were in the bottom there, starting to go. There we are. Don't worry too much about the bubbles on the top, because that's what the rubbing alcohol's for. Isopropyl alcohol, also known as rubbing alcohol. Okay. Right. I do like melt and pour because you can do so much with it. You can add glitters, different colours, you can add botanicals, you can layer it, you can shape it, you can put funny shapes into it. It's brilliant, it's good fun. The only limit is your own imagination with it. It's great, great. Now, when you're gonna pour, if you're just doing a single, I'm using these little cute unicorn molds. If you're just doing a single pour like this, you don't need to really fuss about what temperature it is when you pour it. If you're doing layers, that's a whole other thing, and I'm gonna do another video with some layered soaps. Just waiting for those last little bits to melt away. So I will show you all about that and the different temperatures and your timings and everything else. But just a straightforward pour, it doesn't really matter what your temperature is. If you're using essential oils, they do have flash points. Some of them are quite low at sort of 50 degrees, so you need to be careful when you're adding. Okay, so we're at a good consistency. See, it's nice and runny and light, and now you can start adding all your stuff to it. Okay, so get some colour. You can use all different types of colours. You can use micas, powders. I'm using, these are super strength water-based colours, so you literally 1, 2, 3, 4 drops. You don't need a lot of these, they're absolutely brilliant. There we are, it's got a lovely pink. Okay, so just give that a really good mix, good stir, make sure it's all mixed in. Right, then you want your fragrance oil. Now in the UK we're restricted to 2% with fragrance oils. So I've got 600 grams in here, so 2% of that is 12. We're going to go for 10 because this is quite a good fragrance. Yeah, again, give that a good mix. Get that all mixed in. Now just for funsies, I'm going to put some glitter in as well. So I've got this lovely rose pink glitter, which is a bio glitter, because anything plastic or artificial has now been banned. So this is a bio glitter, which is made from plant extracts. So pop a bit of that in there. Again, you don't need that much. Get a good mix. Now, anything with glitter, I love. So, see all the glitter in there? Lovely and sparkly. Okay. And we are good to go. Right, so, like I say, you don't need to check your temperature, but you can if you want. So the melting point of this one is 54, so I don't want to let it get within sort of 2 degrees to that, because it'll start to thicken up and gloop up and you won't be able to pour it very well. Okay, so here we go. And literally, just pour it in. Now this is the point where your alcohol comes in. And I shall show you in a minute. I'll bring the camera over. Okay, so see on the top there, all those bubbles that have risen to the surface. Get your alcohol on there. Ta-da, and they magic away. Okay, so that is pretty much it for your melt and pour. Look at them sparkling. So I hope this was helpful. It's just a basic quick run through of what to do if you want to start out. And once you've got this weighed off and your temperatures and everything else like that, you can start messing about with layers and different embeds and things like that. Okay, keep an eye out for more of my videos. Thanks, bye. Just to show you, that's them ready. So they've been sat in the mould for a couple of hours. So they just pop out. If I can do it with one hand. Let's turn it over. There we are, just pops out. Ta-da! And we've got a really glitzy, sparkly unicorn. Cute, aren't they? There you go.